Hello, today I'm going to share my favorite art supplies with you. The first category that we're just going to jump right into is paint. We have here two palettes of paint, gouache and watercolor. I use gouache and watercolor. Sometimes I use acrylic, but I don't really like it that much, so I'm only going to share my favorites with you today. Let's start with my very, very favorite of all time, my #1 art supply, which is watercolor. So let's jump right in. This is a beautiful watercolor palette that I got in a random art supply storage place, so that was super fun. But there was an aisle somewhere very low in the store that you had all of these old palettes, and I saw this one and I thought, this is just so beautiful. You have like these four things on top, and then you have like the it's a metal tin, it's black, and it's beautiful. Well, I think it's beautiful. You don't have to agree, of course. And then let's take a look what's inside of here. Here you have like these 4 very deep wells that are great for mixing, but you also have this part that you can mix it in. I like to keep this one in because, you know, it doesn't really bother me and it's handy for some extra mixing. So there are a lot of different brands in here. I like to, you know, create my own watercolor palette. I don't really like the standard palettes that you can buy, though I think that is a great way to start. But if you have a little bit more experience with watercoloring and you know, mixing and stuff like that, I think it is amazing to create your own watercolor palette. My favorite brands that are in this palette, if you want to see like a full tour of what is in here, I can totally provide you with that, and that will be my next video. So if you want to, leave that in the comments down below. But my favorite brands that are in here are Daniel Smith. I know that is a little bit sensitive at the moment, but I do think that they have some beautiful colors and beautiful feel, and the paint feels amazing to work with. I also like Rembrandt because the quality is just amazing, and they are not super expensive and really easy to come by here where I live in the Netherlands. But also Schmincke is amazing, and there's a few super granulating limited edition Schmincke colors in here, and I adore them. I like granulating special paints. But if you want to see a deep dive of this palette, please leave that in the comments down below, and I will totally do that for you. So this is my palette, and I'm really sad that I can't really link it down below because it is a very unique find for me. So yeah, my watercolor palette. And the next paint I want to share with you is this gouache palette. Now, I'm not super experienced with gouache, I have to say. Also not that experienced with watercolors. I've only been doing watercolor for 1.5 years now, but gouache is something that I have even less experience in. I do like gouache. I like that it dries matte. I like the feel of it, but I just don't, I'm not that good at it yet. Maybe that will come one day. I have some pens here, but I discovered that I like to work with gouache from tubes better, but I really like the metal palette thing that you grab your palette, you have the mixing space here, you have everything you need in one palette. Is something that I really love about watercolors. So I thought when I saw this Schmincke gouache palette online, I thought this would be a great, you know, buy to explore the possibilities of gouache. I do like to work with gouache, but it's quite hard. I think it's way harder than working with watercolors in my own opinion. But yeah, it is definitely one of my favorite art supplies that I own. I have more gouache, but this is my favorite gouache. And I'll show you just like one choosy. And this is my favorite color in the palette. It's called Titanium Gold Ochre. But all the other colors are nice as well. And of course, also, if you want to see a tour of this one, please leave that in the comments down below. And it is a Schminke tin. And it's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now moving on to the next category of art supplies, and that is drawing medias. Well, this is a little bit of a cheat because this is actually an art supply that is in between. And those are the Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2 crayons. Now, let me tell you, why do I love these? Because they're just so fun to work with. I feel like a child when I create stuff with these, what are they called? Crayons. They're like fancy crayons for grown-ups, and they have so much possibilities, and I just bought them open stock. I broke one, sadly. Yeah, and these are the colors that I picked. There are in total 84 colors. I have 20 colors in here. I was doubting to get the big set because I really like to work with them. But then I discovered that the big set is actually comparable to the price when you buy them open stock, or a little bit more expensive. Because I can buy these for like $150, $140 each. So that is a great price, I think. And these are just some of the colors. These are all of the colors that I own, and I love them. I like to create stuff with them. I like to, use them with watercolor on their own. I like to use them dry in my sketchbook, but I also like to use them, with water. And they are and the color selection is so beautiful. Colors from Caran d'Ache are amazing. Like this super, is it a yellow or is it a green kind of color, is right up my alley. So yeah, and they're so fun. They're just so playful, and I like to just have fun with creating art and give myself the freedom to explore and make beautiful stuff, but also stupid stuff or ugly stuff or mistakes or whatever. And these really help you to, let loose and just go with the flow. Which brings me to my next art supply. And they're in here, this cute tin, also from the thrift store. I like to go to the thrift store. And here are my open stock pencils. I also have some Darwin's Darwin's Color Soft pencils, but they are not my favorites. But if you want to see a tour of that is also, of course, something I could provide for you. But here are my two favorite pencils. And those are, on the one hand, the Luminance, also from Caran d'Ache, the Caran d'Ache Swiss-made Luminance pencils. They are very popular, and they are just like such beauty to hold in your hand, to look at, to go to a store and see what colors they have. It's just so much fun. And also here I have my Derwent drawing pencil. Now, why are these my favorite pencils of all time? I like the Caran d'Ache colors the best, but they're very inexpensive. If you like color pencils, you probably know these pencils, and they are really, really inexpensive. But the color selection and the feel, and they're just so beautiful. So these are definitely my number one pencils. I use these in my sketchbook, which is kind of, a waste on the one hand because they're light fast, and that is one of the reasons why they are so expensive. But on the other hand, they do something for me. They inspire me. I think they're so beautiful. And the color selection is insane. And the colors are so deep and beautiful. And I have, here are my calendages. I have more, but I don't have that much because they are so expensive. But look at this blue, beautiful. So that brings me to my second favorite pencil, which are the Derwent drawing pencils from Derwent. And they are also really, really nice. I love the feel of them. They are a little bit bigger than your standard pencil, and they have a very thick colored bit. I don't know how this is called. But they are amazing to work with. But the color selection of these is beautiful, but it's just a little bit too dull for my taste. So I like to work with these kind of natural toned colors, but I also really enjoy my pop of colors, which you only have, I think, 24. I'm not sure. I will, in the edit, I will put it up here. You don't have that much colors of these ones, and the colors that you have are very muted, natural toned kind of colors, which are great, but not always that inspiring for me personally. But I think that a lot of people will really, really enjoy these pencils, and they are a little bit less expensive than the Luminance pencils. So they are amazing, and I would totally, recommend anyone who likes to work with color pencils. I have to say, if you like soft pencils, these are something for you. If you like a more harder pencil, I don't know if this is something for you. But I'm one of those people who really likes to work easily with their pencils, and then this is definitely a great pencil for you. And yet again, if you want to see a tour of all of my pencils that I own, I have this one, and then I have a big set of the Derwent color stuffs. I can totally do that. I like to talk about art supplies, and this is just talking about art supplies. The last thing that I want to talk about is sketchbooks. I'm not going to show any papers because I don't really have that much experience with different types of papers, and I don't feel confident to share you my favorite. Simply because I haven't tried that many and I haven't discovered my all-time favorite paper. I'm still just looking around. And when it comes to watercolor sketchbooks, I also haven't found my, ultimate dream sketchbook, like I'm totally in love with. But the one that I like the most is worth mentioning, I think. And it's this Hanemule watercolor book. And it's a watercolor sketchbook, or watercolor and mixed media sketchbook. And you can have a lot of fun with this sketchbook. It is good for mixed medias. I like it. So I do recommend this one. Last sketchbook things that I want to share. And these are sketchbooks that I totally love. I'm never going to try another sketchbook, I think, when it comes to dry media sketchbooks. They're very inexpensive. They're easy to come by here in the Netherlands because they're from Art Creations, from Royal Talents, which is a Dutch brand. So they're really, really easy to come by. They have a lot of different shapes and sizes and a lot of different colors. I like to work on a portrait sketchbook, but you also have landscape or squares. And I just like the quality and the price. And I have 3 sizes here. Maybe I'll try more. I don't know yet. But I adore them. They are amazing because they are so inexpensive. They really push me to just do stuff and just go crazy. Like these pages are also inside of this. Like persons and stuff like that. So there's so much I would say this is the best for dry media, like markers or crayons or whatever. So yeah, this is my little sketchbook. I can show you some of the sketches that I made in here so far. And I do really enjoy this sketchbook. I have 3 different sizes because I couldn't decide which size I like best. So far, I like these 2 the best. This color, it's just like my all-time favorite color as this at this moment. If you know a pencil that is like literally this like coral kind of color, please let me know. I want to buy that one. I like the price, I like the color, I adore them, so I'll link them down below as well. And you can find them in literally any local art store here in the Netherlands. I believe you can also buy them at the CRAYONS, but they are only black. But if you like black, that would be something for you. But I would always recommend to buy locally if you can. So yeah, those are my all-time favorite art supplies so far, because I'm still exploring the world of art supplies and there's so much to explore. And if you want to see an in-depth tour of my watercolor palette and I can show you all of the brands that I own, I would totally be in for that. If you want to know more about my gouache, about my artwork, just let me know. If you'd like this video and if you want me to continue making videos, please subscribe or leave a comment or share or whatever. And yeah, this was my first video, which is fun to say, I think. And I had a lot of fun making it. Now I'm going to edit and hopefully I like that as well. Thank you for watching. Bye.